Someone told you their name 11 seconds ago. It is gone. You are still looking at their face. You can describe their jacket. You remember what they were drinking. The name lasted less time than the handshake. This happens to everyone. It happens to you reliably. And it is strange because faces stick, conversations stick, details stick, but names evaporate on contact. You have probably blamed yourself. You are scattered. You do not listen well enough. You are too self-absorbed to hold space for another person's identity. You have a bad memory. This is what you tell yourself when it happens for the 100th time and you have to ask again and feel the small shame of forgetting. But here is what is actually happening. Your memory is not failing you. You are being handed something that has nothing to hold on to. In 1987, four British psychologists named McWeeny, Young, Hay, and Ellis ran an experiment called putting names to faces. The design is the point here because they engineered out every excuse. Participants learned surnames and occupations for 16 unfamiliar faces. But crucially, some words did double duty. The word baker was a surname for one face and a job for another. The identical word, only the label changed. Faces were shown in isolation to remove context. Cueing from related information was eliminated. How frequently each type got used was equated. They removed every obvious reason and tested what remained. What remained was this: names were much harder to recall than occupations. This held even for those ambiguous double-duty words. Even when the exact same word meant two different things, when it was a job, people remembered it. When it was a name, people forgot it. The question becomes why. When you tell someone a man is a baker, their mind immediately reaches for flour, ovens, early mornings, an apron, the smell of bread. Every one of those is a separate route back to the fact. Forget the word, and you can still arrive at it sideways. You might remember him as the person who smelled like yeast, or the one who was always tired, or the one with flour under his fingernails. Tell them his surname is Baker, and they get none of that. The word hangs off that face on one arbitrary thread. There is nothing else connected to it. In neural terms, learning an occupation strengthens a far larger number of connections. It activates schema. It connects to existing knowledge. A name gets a single path, one thread. Everything else you learn about a person connects to something you already know. You know what jobs are, you know what accents are, you know clothing, you know buildings and places and professions. A name is the only piece of information about a person that means nothing at all. It is a pure label, arbitrary, assigned by people who never met them, chosen before anyone knew who they would become. It describes nothing, it connects to nothing. So your brain does what it was built to do. It throws it away. But here is the reversal. Your name memory is actually excellent. Everyone assumes memory for names is simply worse than memory for faces. That intuition confuses two different tasks. Recall is retrieving something from nothing. Recognition is confirming something you are shown. When researchers tested faces and names within the same recognition framework across 3 experiments, they found a clear advantage for names over faces. You store names fine, you recognize them fine. When you are shown a name, you know whether it is the right one. What you cannot do is retrieve one with no cue, no starting point, no hook to pull it back from the dark. That is not a flaw in you. That is a flaw in names. You have spent years quietly assuming this was a character flaw, that you are scattered or self-absorbed or a bad listener, that your memory is weak, that you do not care enough to hold on to people. None of that is true. Names are the one piece of human information deliberately stripped of meaning. They describe nothing, they connect to nothing, they exist as pure arbitrary labels in a landscape where everything else is dense with information and association and routes back to what it means. Your memory did not fail. It was handed something with nothing to hold on to. Your brain worked exactly as it should. It recognized the signal as noise and let it go. The person whose name you forgot is not forgotten. You remember their laugh. You remember what they said. You remember how they looked at you. You remember everything about them except the arbitrary sound they were assigned at birth by strangers who had never met them. That is not a character flaw. That is just how human memory works.